Today I'm going to be talking about perfectionism and how it almost ruined my life. Yes, you heard me right. Like how this term perfectionism or this personality trait, how it almost ruined my life. Not just my life, my career, because my career is my life and my life is my career, if you know what I mean. This is something that, growing up, I have always wanted to do something perfect. I'm this kind of person that I'm particularly detailed in everything that I do. And I didn't even realize how much effect this has on me. And it was so bad that, things I'm supposed to accomplish, things I'm supposed to do, I find myself not doing them. Because first of all, I have this fright for feedback. Like I'm always afraid of people giving me feedback, criticizing what I do. So that makes me not to do things that requires people's comments or people's feedback. So I didn't realize. And then growing up, as an undergraduate, I have a friend, who is also into research writing. He's a very good friend of mine. And then he always want me to do things. He always want me to write. So he never really understood why I wasn't always coming forth in what he wants me to do, right? And this is because I've always watched him, I've always observed him. He will write, he will send out to reviewers, they will edit, give him back. Most of the times, the feedback comes back or the paper comes back in red, like the entire page will come in red. And then I'll be at one point, like at a corner, and I'll be wondering, like, how do I come out of this? I didn't even, at this point, I never knew this is called perfectionism, right? But I knew that I was afraid of feedback. I was afraid of negative criticism. So when this thing was happening, no one spoke to me about it. I didn't even relate to anybody about it. I didn't even know it's actually an issue, like something. Don't get me wrong, there's actually a positive part to perfectionism. And I think before I even go ahead, let me even define what perfectionism is. So perfectionism is a personality trait, and is a personality trait where individuals, strive for excessively detailing or excessively high standard in whatever they are doing. So as a perfectionist, you always set this high standard for yourself. You always want whatever you do to be so nice, to be so perfect that everybody that's coming to see it must say that, oh, this is good. And as a perfectionist, people like myself, I don't like it when people give me, negative feedback. It hurts me. And because of that, I failed to do a lot of things, or I failed to, accomplish so many tasks. So I didn't even realize this. I didn't even know about it until when I came to the United States for my graduate studies, So I registered this particular course, and I was the only student taking this course. So it was just me and the professor. And what that means is I have to do all the readings, and then I have to come to class and talk about it, discuss it with the professor. So from where I'm coming from, Nigeria, with all the class presentations we've always done, you don't come out with paper to present. You read, you come and read it off heart, and the class will cheer you for knowing how to read, how to say things without cramming them. So I didn't know that coming to this place, like, it's going to be a different thing altogether, right? So when I started this particular course with my professor, he will watch me, I'll come to class, and then I'll be explaining the things I've read without a PowerPoint or a projector or, some outlines in my book. And then I'll be saying everything, out of my head directly. And he will just be looking at me. He didn't even say anything, like, it's not like he even said, oh, Sochi, this is the right way to do this thing. But one thing was interesting, and it was the fact that I always got, choked up whenever I'm making these presentations, in my class. Because here, you read more, you have more things to read, and there's no way you will have all those things in your head. There's no way you will carry everything in your head. And that is why PowerPoint is very important. Like graduate students or even academic seminars, people come with PowerPoints to display their maybe some things which will help them to present. So, but for me, I didn't realize that was the case. I didn't even know. So sometimes I will spend my whole days in the week reading and preparing for this particular class, only for me to get to the classroom, and then my brain, sometimes I will forget everything. Hi. And then I'll be like, Prof, I don't know what is going on. Like, how would I finish reading? Like, I will show him my paper, how I highlighted everything to actually show that I read and I made side comments. I'll tell him, Prof, see, I don't know what is going on. How would I read and then come to class and forget everything? So this thing happened then. As someone who has who has already understood what I'm passing through at that point. Me, I never knew what was going on. So what he was doing then was to just observe me, and then he will help me. Maybe the ones I'm not able to explain, he will come in and then we will have the class. So like that. So it was one day I came into his office, and then that same thing happened again. I couldn't understand. I couldn't even remember what I read. He said, Sochima, the problem here is not that you're not intelligent. You are intelligent, and we know you have what it takes to succeed in this program, but you are a perfectionist and you need to help yourself. It was at that point that when he mentioned that perfectionist, I'm like, what does that even mean? I didn't even ask him what perfectionist or what perfectionism is all about. Like, I was so in a haste for that class to finish so that I would go and browse and quickly research and know what perfectionism is all about. Guys, I went home. Even while I was in the bus, what was in my head was, you are a perfectionist. You're a perfectionist. Because for me, I felt like, I've been diagnosed of some disorder. So I went home. I Googled everything. Wow. It was at that point when I started reading about perfectionism, it felt like someone just used a projector to project my life, like everything that's been happening in my life. I was reading everything, like the personality traits, how perfectionists procrastinate a lot because we always have this fear of failure. So, and we always fear, making mistakes in things we do. So because of that, we procrastinate. And also as a perfectionist, you always set high standards for yourself. And because this high standard you set for yourself, it makes you not to, achieve your goals. And it makes you to fix, guys, I hope I'm not talking too much because this is something that I'm so excited to talk about right now because it dealt with me. It almost cost my life or my career. But knowing about it, man, I'm talking about it, like, I'm saying it with so much happiness because I just hope that with this story, someone can learn. And guys, even as I'm talking now, if you know or if you can relate to what I'm talking about and you feel like what I'm saying is the same thing, I would like you to comment on the comment section, right? And then you tell me, let's share your own experience. Let's see how we can, help one another. Remember, Great Talk with Sochi is where we, explore vulnerabilities and uncover meaningful solutions. So yeah, so when I was browsing, when I was researching, and then I found out that, look, as a perfectionist, I always set unrealizable goals, like goals that are so big. Trust me, I'm not saying that it's not good to dream big. It's good to dream big, but what are the roadmaps, right? I don't even know what is roadmap. I don't even consider it. What I know is, I want to be the biggest thing that's happening to the world, and I want to bring out creative ideas. I don't even care about what are the roadmap, what are the steps. I never allowed myself, as a perfectionist, I never allowed myself to be a human being. That's the word. I never allowed myself to be a human being. I see myself as a machine. I see myself as a robot. I see myself as someone that is so perfect. So when I write, of course, as an academia, you will write. That is what we are known for. We write and we critique. So when I write, I can spend like 2 hours writing one paragraph. I'll write the first sentence, I'll clean it. I'll write the second sentence. I'll spend like 2 hours on one paragraph trying to get everything right. But one thing that I failed to understand is there is no perfect writing out there. Maybe not there is no perfect writing. What I mean by that is, no matter how beautiful a writing or a write-up is, it has gone through series of editing, proofreading. Even when a professor writes, the professor still goes ahead to send it to another professor to help and read. They even get language editors to even look at the work. How much more myself that's just starting? I don't even know you really meant in writing, if I'm to use that word. So I never allowed myself to be human. I always wanted to just write it and get it so perfect. Guys, I will spend time, even when I'm studying for my graduate studies, for my classes, I'll be reading and reading and reading, and I'll be wasting time on one particular page because I really want to get what that is, and I want to enter the classroom and my professor will clap at me when I'm done presenting, forgetting that first of all, I'm not even in a competition with anybody. Secondly, I'm supposed to give myself the room to grow. And thirdly, like, I need to understand that there is need to write drafts. No, this one is not even about, it's not even only in academics. Like, I think it cuts across everything, but I'm coming from the perspective where it has really affected me, which is studies, right? And of course, life in general, because I know there are so many tasks, things that, extracurricular stuff. I remember when I was in Nigeria, I contested for the minister of my university, my alma mater, very good school. So before the call for audition even came out, I had already sewn suits, made all my preparation. I've already gotten my all my equipment, all the things I need, all my costumes. I didn't even wait for audition to get, because I wanted everything to be so top notch. Like, I don't even want anybody to say, oh, this one is not nice, you need to cut this one down. I never wanted that. I want everything to be so perfect. Guys, let me tell you what happened. I know I'm drifting. I'm supposed to have even gone back to finish what I was saying, but let me say this one at this point. What happened was, when the audition came out, I went for the audition, finished the audition. When it was now time, of course, I was accepted to participate or to contest. So when it was now time to tell us what we were expected to wear, guys, I made a navy blue suit. At the end of the day, the organizers wanted a black suit. You know what that means? I went ahead to go and sew another black suit. I mean, I could have waited. I could have waited to see what this thing is all about. But because I want everything I want to do, I want it to be so perfect. I want it to be so nice. I don't want anybody to come and, like, guys, I don't even listen. Like, do you get? Sometimes I have it as issue with my friends. They'll be like, you know, you are stubborn, you don't listen. So when I finished reading about perfectionism, yes, I'm back. I realized that, see, I need to give myself the room to grow. I need to give myself the room to be a human being. I need to give myself the room to for people to help me, for people to invest in me. And then I realized that, because when I want to write, I would spend like 1 hour, 2 hours writing just one paragraph. And trust me, in the Western world, the way we write paragraphs here, if your paragraph is more than 8 sentences, it's already big. So imagine when I'm writing 6 to 7 or 8 sentences and I'm spending 2 hours. Like, I'm not saying that you can't spend that amount of time, but in my own case, it's about, I write one word, I'm like, no, this word does not even suit, I have to change it. And then I go to again, I'll be editing, before you know it, guys, I've spent 2 hours writing 8 sentences of maybe 150 to 200 words. So when I started researching, and I was like, how best do I even help myself with this issue? How do I come out from this? I started praying, because that's the only way I know how to do. That's the only way. My God is the only way. That I told him, I said, Father Lord, I never knew about this. I never knew this is the reason I have not been able to do a lot of things. But now that, thank you for using my professor to point this out, to me. Please help me. I started praying. I started asking for counselor. I reached out to my mentors. In fact, one of my mentors, my mommy. I keep calling her my mommy. When I spoke to her about how graduate school is so difficult for me, she said, Sochi, please take it easy. Don't be a perfectionist. Like, she repeated the same thing my professor said. I said, that means I need to help myself. This is not how I'm going to continue. Guys, so what I did was, I started researching. I found out that, first of all, I've mentioned the place of God in my journey to getting out of this. So I started setting realizable goals that are feasible, right? I got a writing timetable, reading timetable. This is not to say that I never had all these things, but I did. But there is this, there's a difference between you have something at hand. I don't want to call this thing a problem, so that it will not be like, but I like the term personality traits, right? So that way you can give it any interpretation, but I just hope you understand what I'm saying, so that people in the medical sciences will not come for me. Trust me, it's not a medical disorder. So I now set goals, reading goals, how I'm going to help myself. So it was at this point that I said, okay, when I want to write, I'm going to write anyhow. Like me, before now, I don't know what is writing a draft. When you want to write, you say, okay, write your first draft, visit it again. It's not for such you. Like, I want it to be nice from the beginning. So I started writing a draft. I'll write and, I'll write and just write straight. When I finished, in fact, the first time I started writing and sending to people. Okay, what I did was I registered in, what's it called? Career Center. So, which is like we share our works together for people to read. And then I remember the first writing I did. Yes, the first writing I submitted in graduate school. My professor said, this is a good writing. However, this and this is not the way it's supposed to be. That thing pained me. I took it. I think I got, was it an A- or something in that particular assignment? Either A- or B+. I can't really figure out what score. So I started writing and I started sending it out to people. And trust me, guys, it wasn't funny. My write-up will come back with red, like blood money red. And then I'll be like, I'm not even going to try this again. But the more I keep living in that denial, the more the thing is getting worse. So I told myself, look, you have to start doing this. The first thing is I told myself again, Sochi, you need to be a human being. You are just a human being, nothing else. You're a human being. The beautiful works or books you've read, that you think have gotten you to the level where you are academically, they went through this process. This is now me talking to myself. This is now me advising myself. So I started reading. I started helping myself. I'll read, I'll write, I'll send out. The feedback will come out. Guys, like I would say that from late November 2023 up until now, like my writing has tremendously improved. Not because I now write so well, but because I can now write and comfortably send it out to people to edit and bring their feedback. And then when I'm opening the document and I'm closing my eyes to see it is coming in red, because that is the first thing, like the fear, the anxiety. So I started doing that, and right now it's helping me. So guys, it feels like I've been talking about, perfectionism. I've been talking about the negative aspect of, everything negative about perfectionism. But that does not even mean that it doesn't have the good aspect of it. Because as a perfectionist, people who are perfectionists, because me, I'm getting out of it, because people that are perfectionists, so we set high standard. That means we aim for high things, high goals. The things we do has to be top notch. So that can really make us to invest a lot in it and work towards it. And at the end of the day, it becomes so good. So also as a perfectionist, we pay attention to details. Why am I using we? Hello, I'm out of it. I'm getting out of it. So perfectionists, people who are perfectionists, they pay attention to details. So that means you are very critical about everything you are doing, and it's called flawlessness. You don't want any how do I put it? Like, you don't want anything that is going to be like a weakness to anything you are doing. So you want it to be so nice and perfect, profound when you bring it out. So because of that, you want it to be so perfect, and you pay attention to everything you are doing, which is me, which is what I do. Even if I started this YouTube, hey, guys, let me tell you, do you know that I've always wanted to be a YouTuber? I've always wanted to talk to the media. I've always wanted to talk to camera. But I know I'm talking so much, but guys, I'm just expressing how this thing has made me feel, right? So, but I wanted everything to be so perfect. I want to get my scripting right. I want to get camera, high standard camera, HD quality. I want to get ring light, everything. Forgetting that, hey, so many YouTubers out there filming with their phone. Guys, as I'm talking to you now, I'm filming with my phone. I didn't even buy the camera. So, but it's different now because I have realized, I'm in the realization of, that this thing is something I need to work on, right? So I'm in the moment of self-awareness where I now know this is what it is. So as a perfectionist, you want it to be so perfect, right? And you set high standard, you set high goals, which is a good thing. And we know that everything in life has the positive and the negative aspect of it, but it becomes a concern when the negativity or the negative aspect of it outweighs the positive aspect. That's when it calls like you need to work on it. Like in my own case, I've already said enough. So it almost ruined me. So imagine if I didn't, if my professor didn't point this out to me. Imagine if I was still spending more than 3 hours writing a paragraph. Imagine if I'm not sending my works out for people to read and bring it back for me to, to improve. So imagine if I was still in the point of trying to get quality camera, I wouldn't even have started this, right? So guys, this is, I just want to tell you guys that if you know that this thing I'm saying, this perfectionism or these traits, these personality traits, if you know you can relate, if you know that the things that are happening in your life is like you are relating with what Sochi is saying, I can't wait to see your comments in the comment section. Like, describe how your own is happening to you, because the way it's doing me might not be the way it's happening to you, right? But this is me, and I believe in every, like, no matter how we are telling our own stories differently, there has to be something unique, which is all about that fear for failure, fear for rejection, fear for feedback, the negative feedback. We want to be glorified all the time. Perfectionists. They. So sorry, I know I'm being dramatic right now. So yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't mean that, so right now I now set goals. I now set realizable goals. I work with reading timetables. Sometimes I don't follow it though. When that thing comes to me, that perfectionism, whatever, when it engross me again, I want to do everything again. I will start procrastinating, because that's number one thing. We start procrastinating. Hey, I'm afraid of failure, mistake. I don't want to make mistakes. So we keep procrastinating this stuff. So now, sometimes even when I miss to use my reading timetable, I will still get stuck. When I remember, I'm like, oh, Sochima, you have failed to be a human being again. You're now a robot, you're now a machine. So now I'm giving myself the room to be a human, not a machine and not a robot. And also realizing that even the best writing out there, even the best project, anything like me, this is me trying to put this in everything. I'm saying they went through process of criticism and feedback, comments. If it is writers, we go to language editors. They help you to perfect your writing, to make your stuff nice, to have to be a good read, right? So now I do all these things, follow my reading timetable, not all the time, but at least I'm better now. And I now write. Right now, if I'm writing, I'm not even okay again. I'll just be writing. When I finish writing, I'll send it out. And then when the feedback comes, I close my eyes to know if it's coming with red. If it arrives or if it comes with red, sometimes I'll feel bad though. I'll feel bad. It's not something that I'll just overcome, but what I can say is from November last year till now, 2023 November till now, this is February 2024. I'm good. I'm getting better, It still comes and it goes, but I now realize that I'm helping myself. So this is me saying, like I said, like the real topic Sochi is about where, I said power of storytelling, exploring vulnerabilities. This is where I'm encouraging all of us to come out and share our personality traits, those life challenges that are bothering us, because you will not even know this is what is going on until someone talks about it. Because me, I didn't know this is what is happening. I've been avoiding improvement, avoiding the good things of life because I'm a perfectionist. I want my things to be perfect. If not my professor that God used to help me, I don't know what would have happened now or where, yeah. So that's the thing. I would say, if you're going through this, guys, let's come together. Drop your comments. Let's talk about it. Let's share our experiences. Because the way it's happening to me may not be the way it's happening to you. But we all have the same, one unique thing, which is fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of negative criticism, right? So yeah, so thank you for joining me on Real Talk with Sochi today. And I hope you enjoyed my own little story of how this perfectionism almost changed my life and my career. And I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about it. I can't wait to hear your comments. And guys, please don't fail to subscribe, share, keep watching Real Talk with Sochi. Because if you're not here, and that means I'll be talking to myself, right? So I'm here because I know that I want to help someone and not to teach you. I'm not teaching you, but we are sharing our experiences together. We are sharing our stories together. And we hope that we can learn, help ourselves. It's a community, like I said, it's a safe space where we encourage one another. So today I will sign out now by saying thank you so much for joining me. And I can't wait to meet you, on the next one. Bye.